Dr. Teresa Bristol. I am a physical therapist, an entrepreneur, small business owner, and I am progressing towards being a coach and launching an online training course along with an author of a children's book, which will debut here in the summer. So today we are here to have some fun. We are here to feature one of my favorite people in the whole world who happens to be very brilliant and talented. And his name is Carl Bynes. We have been together for a really long time. I'll tell you all the story once we get into our chat, which is about to go live, and add him in here in just a couple more minutes. So with this being said, most of you may know, some of you may not know, I run a private physical therapy practice here in Atlanta, Georgia, where we treat children from birth all the way up to 21, as well as adults. So I have a number of contracts that and affiliates that I get referrals from. So I have myself, another physical therapist on staff, and we're looking to expand to add on additional providers, including occupational therapy as well as physical therapy. So I'm super, super excited. A lot of things are spinning. I am looking to launch an online course and a coaching packet, which will be a new line of service for me as a business owner and an entrepreneur. So today we're going to talk about getting it done, all right? And my friend is going to come on and help me do that. So Carl, let's plan on you trying now to enter so we can get it started. We are right at 3:59. Our plan was to start at 4 o'clock. Being prompt, y'all, is something that I think is really important. And sometimes we fall short of that, but we can lose our followers and our supporters if we do not honor and respect their time, which is what I desire to do. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Hello, hello, hello. I see some familiar names and faces. I see Rhonda and Toya. Thank you for all the love. I think I see a few more people that may be on my side, but I definitely see K-Rod, who is my buddy and my colleague, as well as a fellow alum that I'm going to bring on board. So bear with me here, okay? All right. Also, I think I need to put our topic in here so I can make sure everyone can see that. So bear with me. This part, and where do I type it? I type it in one time, and I want to be able to see what I typed, and so I can pin it. And let's see, where did it go? Okay, that's the part I do not know about just yet. So I am going to keep going and figure it out once we get going here, okay? Okay, I don't want that. All right, Carl, I'm bringing you in. Here we go, drum roll. Drum roll. It is 4 p.m. and we are going.
Well, hello, Dr. Bristol. That's right. That's right. How are you?
You better do it.
Well, you know I got to start this off right, okay?
Start.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm
okay.
ready.
I just want you to listen a little bit.
Okay.
That's right. Oh, I see you with the green shades on. Okay.
Dun, 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 dun.
Woo! Yes.
What a wonderful introduction and icebreaker. Yes.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Of course, I had to. It is so great to be on this live with you. First of all, thank you for having me on your Instagram live for this interview. And I get to actually make a really huge announcement that I'm so excited about. So to use this platform and to do it with you, I can't think of a better way. So thank you so much.
I am privileged and I'm super excited and honored to have you here. I want to
Thank
give
you.
a little bit of an introduction first,
Okay.
and then we'll go a little bit further.
Okay.
Um, this is my dear friend, Carl Roderick Vines, better known as Carl. It's Roderick Carl Vines.
Yeah.
He and I have been friends, y'all. What? Forever. 25.
Oh yeah. Oh, can we count? Let's see. It's been this summer will be 23 years.
Yes. Okay. So
Yeah,
we met.
because what, like 98? Yeah. For
Yeah.
for H
Pre-PT
Cop.
club, right?
Yeah, pre-PT
H.
club, H Cop. Yeah. So yeah,
Right. Yeah.
it's been a while.
It has been a while. So we know each other pretty good, right?
Oh
We
yeah.
started. I think I can say your bio without even reading it. I know, but you may have to fill in some gaps.
Okay.
He is an amazing artist. He has great vocal abilities. He actually still makes chill bumps come on my skin when he sings, y'all.
Thank you.
The melody that those lips produce is just absolutely amazing. So I think that's one of your definitely first loves. But physical therapy is what led us together when we were in college at Florida A&M University.
Whoa. Oops. That was that was quite funny, wasn't it?
Icebreaker again.
Oh yes.
We had to
Yes.
make sure
So
everybody was crunk and alert. It's okay.
yes,
Get it
that's fine.
together.
We'll keep going.
It's all good.
Yes.
You got it?
I got it. We're good.
Okay, so we met at FAMU prior to us getting accepted into the physical therapy program.
Yes.
So Carl and I went through our curriculum at FAMU. We graduated. He and I became physical therapists. We went into different directions after that point. So Carl went on and he ventured into more long-term care, skilled nursing settings over the course of the last 20 years.
Yes.
And so I know he's worked a lot in Florida, and after leaving Florida, he came to where he is now to be in New York and New Jersey. It's licensed in all 3 states, Florida, New Jersey, and what?
New York.
New York, right.
Yes.
So along the way, he's had a lot of wonderful experiences, and we want to be able to dive into some of those. And just like me, we kind of had that pivotal place in life where we've moved into different directions, had different interests. He's been, I think, done some off-Broadway plays from what I recall.
Yes.
He's done some stuff with the Ivan Allen Dance Studio.
I did. Oh my goodness, you done brought that up. Oh,
I remember.
I did the Ailey Extension. Yes, so the Alvin Ailey Extension Dance Studio. I used to take the Broadway dance classes at Alvin Ailey Dance Extension. So yeah, it was really, really hard. Let's talk about that. Ooh.
Hard, right? So all these things, a lot of great things, a lot of gifts, talents. You stretch yourself literally with that dancing in all different directions. Definitely. In order to be able to shape you into who you are today.
Right.
Right? So I want you to fill in the gaps and tell me a little bit more about you, your person, and your professional journey.
Okay. So as Teresa stated, we did attend Florida A&M University together and graduated in 2000. And so I've been a physical therapist pretty much, for 20 years now, 20 plus years. We're going into the 21st year of that. And it's been amazingly rewarding. And I'm so grateful for the career that I've chosen and this career path. However, I got to a point where it just wasn't honoring everything that I do, especially creatively. And so what happened was I kind of hit a brick wall. I felt like, well, I'm doing physical therapy, but I'm not really honoring everything that I have, especially with the singing that I was doing. So I took a trip to New York City because my friend David had a birthday party. And when I got here, I was like, oh my God, like I need to be in this environment, you know, because I feel like, you know, I can still do physical therapy, but I can also pursue um, my music and entertainment career on a different level. And so in 2011, I actually decided to make that move and moved here to New York. And like you said, I've been doing off-Broadway plays. I've done, you know, several musical adventures. But the biggest thing that I've done to date was I was cast in David E. Talbert's Almost Christmas in 2022.
Yes,
So
that
that was
movie
huge.
was the bomb. I was
Yes.
so excited. So I had
Oh,
all
my
my,
goodness.
we had a cheerleading section in the movie theater. I had all these
Thank you.
kids. I bought movie tickets for a whole bunch of girls, and I thought it
Uh-huh.
would be like a great opportunity to show young girls that, okay, you, somebody like you that comes from a small town like he and I did, both of
A
us
small
did,
town. Can
small
we talk
town
about
like the
that?
both of us did. We
Yes, that's
took,
right.
and he took that, and look, he's in a major film that's featured across the world. And
Yeah.
so we were all in the audience in the movie when you came up to see. We were like, ah! I was screaming, trying to hold back. They're gonna put us out the movie theater, but that's my friend.
Thank you so much. Listen, coming from Arcadia, you're coming from Jennings. Well, I'll tell y'all a little secret. We used to have this thing. Our friend, Dr. Laila Stafford, came up with this whole saying when we were in college. We used to call ourselves STA, Small Town Association. So listen, you can come from a small town, you can come from humble beginnings, and you can still do amazing, amazing things. So shout out to STL. There she is. There's FAMU Peach right there.
Small
Dr.
Town
Stafford.
Association, STA. We coined that, y'all.
STA.
Matter
Yes,
of
we
fact, we
did.
need to get a trademark for it. That's ours.
That's
We
ours.
need to trademark it, right?
Okay, I know that's right. So yeah, so you know, doing that and just coming into more of just of myself and honoring the creative side along with the professional side was something that really, really gave me just like more well-roundedness. I felt like I had kind of fulfill certain things that just weren't there. I remember treating a patient in Florida, and she told me she was, you know, in her 80s and she was quite debilitated. And so she told me, she said, when you get to the end of your life, you don't want to have any regrets. You don't want to have any regrets. She said, the last thing you want to do is to be, you know, saying, wow, what would have happened if I did this? Or what would have happened if I had done that? And it really, really, really just kind of made me think about certain things like, well, why am I staying here? Why am I limiting myself? Why am I, you know, not operating in my full potential? And, you know, some of it was fear, some of it was just the unknown. I think that is one of the most debilitating things that you can put on yourself. Is like, well, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to you know, come of it. But you should still go for it. You should still try it, because what's worse is not doing it and then having that regret at the end of the day, saying, oh man, I really wish I would have done that. So yeah, so you know, coming here and doing that, and I got to a level of where I was like, okay, well, I've worked for companies. You know, I've done so many settings. I've done, you know, home health. I've done acute. I've done, you know, skilled nursing. The bulk of my career, which has been skilled nursing. I've done outpatient. I've done neurologist clinics. I've done all these things, and
you've done this for how many years now?
20 years.
So you've been a physical therapist working in all these settings from now literally across 3 states for 20 years.
Right.
And now you're at a place where, okay, you've done it. So tell me a little bit more about where you are in this season in your life. And then how did you get to where you are in both your personal and your professional sides of things?
Okay. So how I got here, you know, obviously 2020 was a year that was just transformational, and no one saw that coming. It was what I call a blindsided year. So when the pandemic started, you know, it was like March, and so my job, you know, I'm in New York City. At that time was the epicenter. Nobody knew what was going on. Everybody was coming down with it. Nobody was really familiar with how it happened, you know, how it was being transmitted. It was crazy. First, we were hearing droplets and all this other stuff. So everything in New York shut down. It was a ghost town. I think my last day of working was like March the 23rd or 22nd, somewhere up in there. And so I was off home like everybody else, eating, doing everything, you know.
Trying all kinds of foods, trying all kinds
because
of
all
recipes.
you could do was like eat and watch television, like, ooh, you know, it's crazy. And then in the height of the pandemic, my father passed away, April 21st.
Yeah, I remember.
That was like, it was crazy. You know, my sister and I had to get on a plane. You know, at that time, nobody was flying, nobody was doing anything. You know, we got N95, we got everything. Selena, my sister Selena, who was on here, look, she got Clorox white, bleaching down the seats and everything. So
trying to get home from New York City to Florida.
You know, and with him passing away and having to go through all of that, you know, I just started reflecting on a lot of things. But then when George Floyd happened at the end of May, that it enraged me. I don't think I've ever seen a video that had so much impact and change to my life. And I said, I got to do something. I've got to make a contribution to society that's going to not only better me, better my family, better my community, and provide, you know, for others. And so I had already been talking to you, and we were conversing about how you were doing telehealth. And I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. You know, with COVID-19 being, you know, what it is right now. And it's amazing how you can still provide very, very much so needed services, even within the pandemic. And so my journey to entrepreneurship started, and I said, well, I'm going to do my own physical therapy business too. You know, this is what I'm going to do. So I had already started with LegalZoom a couple years ago, forming this business. I had already had the name, everything, but I had placed it on hold because I did not know which state in which I wanted to ground it and be in. So I'm like, all right, well, you know, I know I'm going to be here in New York. I know I'm going to be based out of New York. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make this, you know, official. Call LegalZoom, and they're like, oh yeah, we've got everything. You're good to go, but you live in New York and you have to have a PLC. And
so before we get here, are you making an official announcement?
I am making an official announcement.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure everybody has their ears on, the microphone turned, you know, the volume turned up. Let's hear this. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So hear ye. I am opening officially my own physical therapy practice. And I'm so happy about that. So yes, I am so happy about that. And it's been a long time coming. And I'm going to explain some of that now. What happened was I get to LegalZoom and they're like, oh yeah, we have all of your stuff. You know, we're just going to, you know, just need to do the paperwork or whatever. So I'm doing the paperwork and they're like, whoa, you are in New York. And for New York, you have to have what's called a PLLC. So an LLC, you can formulate an LLC rather quickly. Maybe like within a couple of days, you can kind of be up and running as you form an LLC. However, a PLLC, oh my God, y'all.
It's different, right? So like that would be one of your like many, I'm sure, obstacles or, you know, hurdles that you've crossed in your journey towards becoming an entrepreneur. Oh, so as you go into your story a little bit further, let's congratulate him first of all, even more. Give him some more love. Give my friend some love. Carl Bynes. Give him some love.
Thank you, Valerie. Thank you, Jose. Thank you, LaQuanda. Thank you, Selena. Thank you, Zakia. It's a lot of people. I love y'all.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, thank you,
TK.
thank you.
Yes.
I know you faced a lot of challenges because being, 6, 7 years into this journey,
Thanks, Oli.
experienced quite a bit of that myself. So
Right.
now at this point you can look back and tell us a little bit about some of the challenges, some of the pitfalls that you've seen so far. You haven't officially got to a point of operating. You're just trying to set up. And how long has it been since you've been working on this setup, since you've gone hard at it,
Right.
started working on it, and what kind of pitfalls and challenges have you faced?
Well, okay, so I'm thinking it was going to be quick. Like, I'm fired up after George Floyd. Honestly, I'm fired. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start my business. I'm having next week, and I'm good. And that could not have been further from the truth. So we're talking May, June, end of May, June. I am working for a company that wanted me to go back out in the COVID streets, and I was like, I'm not really comfortable going out, out again. It's not just with my comfortability, but my patients. When I stopped, I had one lady, she was going crazy. Like, it could be on your clothes. It could be on your shoes. She was going crazy. Like, I'm like, listen, I, okay, I understand. I totally understand. It was the unknown, but LegalZoom telling me, okay, well, we no longer do PLLCs. We're going to refund you your money. I'm like, okay, I got to do this on my own. So I had to research and go through all this stuff just to find out everything that I needed to do. And, that took some time because there's so many things. And if you don't send everything in right the first time, it's going to prolong everything. It'll put you back by months. So,
Right.
And so I researched and researched and researched, and I combed through my application for the PLLC. So, I sent it off, and I'm like, okay, well, it should, a couple months, maybe a month or two at the most. I'm thinking like I'm going to be up and running by, maybe July.
And so the start was in June?
This was like June. So first I had to reassign my Medicare number to myself, which meant I couldn't go back to my former employer because they were using my Medicare number to bill through their group. So I had to reassign my number to myself. And then the whole process also started as well with that.
So tell me,
very long process.
Yeah, process is very long, especially with the insurance companies. So the business structure part of it, the entity itself, and choosing what entity you were going to become for your business. Let's back up to that, because that is your fundamental basic step, right? So how did you come about deciding to become either a sole proprietor or LLC or PLLC? Tell me, go backwards a few steps.
I do I like what an LLC has to offer as far as the tax advantages coming from an LLC, obviously the liability as well, how you can separate it from your personal assets versus your actual business. So I knew that would be the structure for me starting off. And I thought about like S Corp and C Corp, but I knew that those business models didn't really fit me right. So that's why I decided on the LLC. But obviously, for New York, you have to have a PLLC, which is a professional limited liability company.
Right.
And what that means is that you have anybody that has a license for whether you're a doctor, a nurse, a dentist, any type of licensing that you have to take, you have to you cannot have an LLC. You have to have what's called a professional limited liability company, and it's called a PLLC. So that's the difference between an LLC and a PLLC. They're both businesses, they're both LLCs, but one is for licensed professionals and the other one is just for business.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good question. So when you're forming your business, there are different structures that you can choose, and each state mandates or regulates things differently. So the state of New York requirements are different from the state of Georgia, which is where I am. Carl is in New York. I am in Georgia. So for our state, LLCs are the minimum requirements for licensed providers. But in New York, you have to perform or get a PLLC.
Right.
Now, when you were trying to find your way, like doing it by yourself, right?
Mhm.
And you mentioned some stuff about Medicare and trying to make a connection and getting your credentials set up. There were some steps that you were taking. If you didn't have counsel, do you think you would have made some mistakes?
Oh, huge mistakes, huge mistakes. And I have a friend that has a business, and her name is Dr. Teresa Bristol, and she's been coaching me through this process. And let me tell you something, having a coach is something that is so valuable because it mitigates so many pitfalls.
Say that. So what again now?
Having a coach is so valuable because it mitigates so many pitfalls that you can have in your business, in forming, in structuring, and in ease of use. You know, when you're contacted or when you're connected with someone who's doing it successfully, has done it, and is able to give you pointers, that is time and money saved. And that those are things that you can't, I mean, you can't put a value. Those are priceless.
They
Those
are
things
right.
are priceless. So even though, people say, oh, coaches are expensive and coaches are, really, really just kind of out of my league. I don't think I need a coach. You do, because it will save you on learning curve. It will save you in mistakes. It will save you in so many things. And we've got some comments down here. Having a coach is so valuable because it mitigates the pitfalls you can have when structuring your business. Yes, thank you so much, Zakia. It's so
Yeah,
true.
it
It's
is
so
very
true.
much so. So when I started out, and I've done some independent work prior to 6 years. I've been in business for myself for a long time, but I just went really hard and said I was leaving everybody else 6.5
Right.
years ago. But when I started out, coaching was not a thing that was, heard of. There may have
Right.
been consultants or people that you could, seek out counsel from, but being a Black woman in a field that we are minorities as females, but definitely as people of color, to find someone who had the knowledge and expertise, who was willing to share it with me, was not anywhere in existence. So I literally had to read every book. I had to go to IRS training courses. I had to learn how to make contract relationships with insurance companies. I had to make a lot of mistakes. And
Right.
so the value of taking on coaches, hiring consultants, hiring professionals in areas that you do not have expertise in knowledge in, is that they are skilled in that area, and you
Right.
want to find that person who complements who understands you, who gets your needs, who can find out and pull the gifts and talents out of you and help you structure your business to move it in a way and a direction that will cause and yield you to be successal. And I
Exactly.
think that is very, very important. So there were some things that you were doing. We won't talk about them in detail. I was like, oh
Right.
no, don't do that, right?
Don't do that.
Don't
Don't do
do
that.
that, because
Exactly.
it will cause you to do this, and you will have to do this all over again, and you will have lost money, time, and it will be very frustrating and stressful. So
Right.
as coaches, we can help you avoid those pitfalls. For one, we've already fell in that hole before.
Right.
Quite probable,
Right.
right? And so we can lead you around it so you can have a better start and less bumps in your road. So you have
Exactly.
somebody that you can seek counsel from. I have a coach, and she's a pediatrician. She's actually following us right now. She has multiple streams of income. She's bossing all over social media. So if I want to learn something, guess what? I'm going to somebody who has more knowledge, insight, and experience in that area. So
Right.
I think that is a very, very important piece for those who may be aspiring entrepreneurs,
Excuse me.
those are who are already in the space of entrepreneurship, that are still just kind of struggling, not quite got it together, don't know how to really make it work. You're getting a few dollars out of it, but you can't just leave your job. Those
Right.
are really, really important pieces. Just like if you wanted a brand new car, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get your money together because you know that car is getting you from A to B. It's giving
Right.
you certain luxuries and comforts that you want out of life. So you're going to get your bank account ready so you can pay for it. So guess what? That's what you do for your coaches, right?
That's right.
At any other expert that you value, you're going to get your coins together and
Right.
you're going to seek out and do your homework. You're going to find that right person, that right fit for you, and you're going
Right.
to be prepared to pay a reasonable amount of money in order to get their services.
Exactly. I can't agree with you more because, you know, in doing so, and when you do that, you have connections that weren't there before. You're learning things a lot faster. You're learning what to do and what not to do, and that person has made some of those mistakes that they're, keeping you from. And they're telling you, yes, I've been there and this was what I did. And it was a huge headache. You don't want to do that.
Right.
Someone telling you that, the value of someone
Oh
just
my.
saying that, instead of going through that whole process yourself and having to spend all that money and go through the headache of changing and doing whatever it was that you weren't supposed to do, that is extremely valuable.
It's invaluable. It's like being in a bad relationship. So if you had to listen to your mama when she said, girl, you better leave that boy alone and go the other way, you could have avoided that pitfall, that HE double, hockey sticks, and everything else and been on your journey. But instead, you decided to go through it. And
Right.
as a result, you got to pay the consequences of your actions. So be prepared if you do not seek out help. Be prepared for the issues that may come along with it. I think you're a little grainy, Carl. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine, and I can see you. I don't know if I'm grainy, but I can definitely hear you clearly.
Yeah, your video is a little grainy. I can hear you. You sound a little spotty. We may want to give it just a couple more seconds to clear up.
Okay.
So while Carl's video is clearing up, for all of you who just came on board, my name is Dr. Teresa Bristol. I am a physical therapist here in Atlanta, Georgia. I have a private practice that has been in existence for a little bit over. Dr. Yabo, am I muffled as well or just Carl?
Can you see me now?
You're coming back in, but it's still grainy. I just want to make sure before we ask more questions that you're in clear, okay?
Okay, all right.
So I have been, I started out with a brick and mortar space in Florida when I ventured into my own business. And so I stayed in Florida with a small practice that I really enjoyed, treating outpatients birth to, I think my oldest person was about 99 years old, and loved it. I had a small staff office coordinator, physical therapy assistant, who was another licensed professional, and we had several physical therapy aides along the way. We stayed into that practice for about 3 years. I was commuting back and forth from Atlanta to Florida, trying to make it work. So my goal at that point was to actually let my PTA, who can actually manage a clinic by themselves in the state of Florida, run that clinic, and I was going to be in Atlanta and starting my next clinic. So as I started on my journey to allow the physical therapy assistants to take over, I started backing away and letting him take on more of the clinical role, and I took on more of the administrative role.
Okay.
Unfortunately, people got used to my hands. People got used to my techniques. People got used to my skill set. And as I tried to venture away from clinical and give it to him, my practice just didn't thrive as well. And so my heart was in Atlanta, and this is where I wanted to be. This is where I knew I wanted to ultimately put my roots down. So I decided after 3 years in Florida to come to Atlanta. I had to, again, regroup. And that's a part of being a business owner. There are times that you have to structure things. You have to come up with different strategies to still make it work. I knew I wasn't working for anybody else, right?
Okay.
So
Right.
I had to come to Atlanta in this huge market. Atlanta has millions of people, as you all know. It's
Right.
huge, and there are huge physical therapy companies here that have made their chains. They're all over the United States. Here I am, a small business, trying to come to this city and figure out. So
Right.
restructuring is really important. And I'll tell you that you come into different seasons. You talked about COVID-19 and the incidents that led you towards entrepreneurship. And so each phase, we have to do things differently based on what the economy, based on what supply and demand, based on how successful or not your business is going. And so those pieces are extremely important. So here I am in Atlanta. Carl is not grainy anymore. So I'm going to
Okay.
take the focus off me and move back to him again. So we were talking about pitfalls and challenges, and you gave us a few. I think those were some pretty good starts with those. Do you have any more that you would like to share with us?
I mean, I'm trying to think, just knowing the right companies and the right, I know the electronic medical records, knowing what each or what several companies has to offer, and talking to someone that's actually been on the systems and can tell you, oh, if you use this system, they can connect you and make your billing seamless. Or, I've never used that system before, and from the reviews I'm seeing that they're not as connected with their billing, so you've got to do this and you've got to do that. So I think just in terms of like mitigating pitfalls, and also knowing recommendations that have worked and that are successful, and that are intuitive. You want something that's easy. You don't want something that's super hard and you gotta put things here 10 times and over here 12 times. You want something that's seamless, that's easy. And a coach can also help you in other areas, like, okay, well, this is your business, but then you got to talk about the tax side and what you need to do, and what kind of qualities you're looking for in a tax professional. This is what you want to do, and if you do this, this can help you and save you a lot of money. Instead of, I won't get in specifics, some of the specific things that you've told me, but that's priceless.
Yeah.
That's priceless. And that only comes from expertise and experience. And when you have a coach, that's what you gain. And it's like gaining someone on your team that can navigate you to an end result much faster, reduce your learning curve, and put you in a much better position.
Having that interaction with me, and I'm sure probably with maybe some other professionals in other areas, how would you say that has changed your process and changed your ease and comfort with starting a business?
Who you are, you have to go through all this stuff, but I only had 2 employees working at the time, and it took them months. My paperwork was done, dated in November. By the time I got it, it was the end of December. By the time I got everything, and the application process had already been since the summer. I called in October and I'm like, listen, you guys, I need, some sort of, email or some sort of confirmation to let me know that, everything's okay. Like, did I do something wrong? So thank God the lady actually, told me over the phone. She was like, let me pull up your business now and look through everything. So she was like, it looks good. She was like, I'm not scrutinizing it right now, but you're going to have to go through a final process. But once you do, we'll send it out in about a month. And that was at the end of October.
Mm-hmm.
The end of the month, November came, still no paperwork. I was like, oh my goodness, this is going to be like, this is crazy, And so the paperwork finally came. That was the longest leg of everything, because once I got that paperwork, I could start, officially start. Everything else is a process for New York, because I have to send in I send in my articles of organization to the Department of State, and they then have to send a certified letter to the Department of Education so that my business would actually be listed on their website.
Right.
So once that's done, and then I also have to actually, New York requires that you put an article in 2 publications in the county in which you're forming your business for 6 consecutive weeks.
Right. So everybody, every state, like it's so different. So I'll say put this out there in terms of starting a business is you have to really do your homework in terms of your specific state.
Yes.
The legislation, the regulations, your particular profession, what it is you're going into, and make sure you're aligning yourself with what your profession allows you to do, as well as what the state and federal mandates are for whatever it is you're trying to get into. So a lot of steps in that process, right?
Yeah.
And even then after that, there is more to come, including trying to get your business up and making contacts and building relationships and getting referrals. So Carl is his direction. He's a physical therapist. And so now he's moving, for those of you who are just joining us, he's a physical therapist. He's now been working on forming his own business for the last several months. We've had some great dialogues. We've avoided some pitfalls by having great interaction together and sharing some of my knowledge and expertise with him. And so the next phase is once he now has his official, the PLLC, which, is in place, we're now working towards all the other things that will come for him to actually be able to now see patients, bill their insurances, get paid for it, set his own schedule, make sure that he has all those other pieces, because there are a lot of other pieces that we haven't even touched on that you still have to work on to ensure that you are, in the tax department, in the accounting department, in the banking department. So it's a lot of pieces together. So if you really want to be successful, you have to set it up, right? You have to make sure you represent your business, first of all, from the foundation up, which is that legal entity foundation that he is working on establishing and making sure it is solid and meets all the requirements. And then after that, he will be able to move forward in terms of, executing and starting to see patients and expanding as he gets further along. But what I was going to talk about is, I lost my thought. The brand, right? So branding is such a big piece, and I've talked about this with previous IG videos that I put up. And you guys, you can always go to my Instagram page at Dr. Teresa Bristol, and also I would love for you to subscribe to our channels. I am at Dr. Teresa Bristol on YouTube, and you can get some great information about, some clinical stuff as a physical therapist, but also some very important things that can help you with your business. So branding is super important. It's not just, I talk about this a lot. It's not just us showing up, being, doing our jobs, what we do, but it's how we show up in every form, how we show up on social media, how we look, how we speak, how we articulate ourselves, how we show up in the public when somebody sees us, or we, don't be caught slipping, I rarely, trust me, leave my house and not be together. Even if I got on sweatpants, I am going to be presentable. So if somebody happens to recognize me, I can have a conversation and be very comfortable in the area of my expertise, and not feel like, oh my gosh, I need to pull this hood down over my head and, dive into a dark space. So your brand, you have to be accountable. You have to do what you say you're going to do, when you say you're going to do it. You need to be on time, so if you have an appointment or something scheduled for a certain time, I do know things happen, and sometimes we can't always be there on time, traffic, emergencies or whatever. But as soon as you know that you are running into an issue where you may not be able to connect with that person at that scheduled time, to notify them. We got text message
Right.
options. You can call, then you can send. I prefer not an email. If you're close to the time that you're supposed to meet with somebody, and I do get this sometimes, people will send me an email and say that they're not going to be present. Okay, an email, I might get that 2 days later, right? But
Right.
our
Exactly.
phones, we have those easily accessible. So a text message at the very least to say, look, I'm running 10 minutes behind. Something happened. I had an emergency. Notify them accordingly.
Right.
So I talk about this. Your brand is bigger than your logo and your business card and your website. Your brand is all of the full picture, how you look, how you speak, how you represent your company, how efficient you are. Do you do what you say you're going to do? Do you deliver the services and products the way that you present it to your customers and your constituents? So branding is very important. And we've talked about some things like literally how you can actually connect with your constituents, now your future patients. So we talked about digital cards. We'll
Yes.
give away that one freebie. So
That's one.
once you
Yeah.
get your cards made, I do have my graphics person create me a digital version of it, so I can text cards now. So we're not in person, we're doing things virtually. So I have my card. After I make that first communication with my patients, I actually send my business card to them and say thank you for the opportunity. I'm looking forward to us having future visits together. Now they have all of your contact. My card has my fax number, my phone number, my email, my social
Right.
media links, my web page, so they can look me up, they can like me, they can follow me. Okay, so very, very important
Very important.
aspects of things. So tell me about your brand, your logo. Have you started? Have you gotten
I
any?
have not. So this is all developing. I'm getting everything together. Like you said, the business cards and everything. So I'm actually hiring a graphic designer. So it's in the works right now to get my branded logo so that, it's something that is recognizable. They know it's me, and, it represents me as a brand. So that's in the works right now. So I'm super excited about that part as well. But great advice on branding. Like you said, it's not just your social media presence. It's all encompassing. It's everything, how you show up. So it's great.
Yes. The pieces I think too are important. I think I may have talked about it a little bit at the very beginning.
Hmm.
What shapes you and what has literally kind of helped you to elevate to where you are today. PT school, we had to work really hard. We
Right.
we were up late nights. We were in cadaver labs dissecting human bodies. We were studying as individuals. We came together as groups. We learned from each other. We shared with each other. We got out of PT school, we started working, we started gaining and building knowledge and expertise in the
Right.
field. So there are a lot of things that have shaped you as well as myself to be who we are today, that gives us a strong, sound foundation, knowledge, expertise, and wit to be able to start our own businesses, not only start them, but make them successful so we can spread our knowledge and expertise and heal bodies, minds, souls, and everything else you can imagine. So,
Exactly.
out of all the things that you've gone through, tell me some of the stuff that you think that has shaped you and made you into the person that you are today.
Definitely, on the job experiences, different, just working with different diagnoses in different settings, learning the business side of things and how Medicare works and how the reimbursement is set up in each setting. So Medicare Part A patient physical therapy is billed different from a Part B, or outpatient or home health, and there are different parameters. So I just think all of the experiences that I've had in different settings and learning for Medicare Part A, the Oasis training, and some of the things now that they have the different payment models with the PDGM. Oh my goodness, things have so much changed. Things have changed, and there's
A lot.
loofahs, and there's all of these things. And And as a matter of fact, I feel like now I do a lot more nursing because that is the setting that I'm working in right now, which is a Part A physical therapy business. But I'm opening a Part B physical therapy business, which is totally different from the Part A. But now with Part A, you know, the patients don't even really get a whole lot of therapy. It's really, we're there to make sure that they're safe in the home, that we provide instructions, we train, we educate, and we're out. And then we're passing them on as a continuum of care to Part B physical therapy, which is where I'll be coming in and which is where you come in. So I think just seeing things on different sides and going through, you know, all these diagnoses and the treatments that I've given and rendered and just kind of learning how developing my own treatment style has been extremely valuable. And that's the experience that I bring into this business. So I'm bringing a lot of experience in what we do as therapists, and what makes our work skilled is that we instruct, that we train, and that we educate. And a lot of times people are like, well, how are you going to be able to do that virtually? You know, obviously every single patient that comes my way, they may not be able to have virtual visits. However, with the training and the instructing and the educating that I do, I can do that just like we're doing right now. I can tell someone what to do, how to do it. And if they have someone there in the home that can help facilitate what they're doing, that makes it even better.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So I think just, you know, everything that I've gone through as far as work and in different settings has definitely prepared me for this business venture.
Okay, awesome. We are, I want to make sure we have just a little bit more time. We are approaching our 10 minutes before our hour mark. I wanted to give our audience a time to ask a question or two to either myself or Carl, or the both, before we do a summary and roundup for our chat today. Time goes by fast when you're having fun.
I mean, oh my goodness, from my desk breaking.
Yes.
Lord, that was crazy,
It's
right?
okay. It's okay. Oh. Any questions for anybody? I may have missed some questions along the way. I'm not sure. I saw quite a few comments.
Scroll through. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Will. Thank you, Zakia. I'm glad you guys are finding this extremely valuable. Please follow Dr. Teresa Bristol. She is an amazing wealth of information. And if you have any questions, hop in her DMs. You guys utilize what you have and let her know about, you know, the things that you guys are working with and working on, because she is extremely successful. She's done this. She's not new to this. She's very true to this. So please.
Yeah, I just stuck in there my my IG is at Dr. Teresa Bristol, and you can subscribe, guys, to my YouTube channel by just searching Dr. Teresa Bristol or PT Works, which is my physical therapy business name. In the very near future, my coaching and online classes will become available for you all who may be interested in starting your business, or who just kind of struggling with where you are right now. So I will have an online course that will have PDF files and recorded videos for you to be able to get some very detailed information, step-by-step guides to help you get your business off the ground and running. I also will have coaching where you will literally have access to me one-on-one to deal specifically with your needs and your business, either as a startup or somebody who just needs some restructuring and to refine it and to make it better. So you can go to www.ptworks4pain.com. That is my website. That shows all of my physical therapy aspects of things. And you can also follow me on Facebook. The PT Works page is available, as well as the YouTube and Instagram options for more information. Okay.
Awesome.
Did you see any questions, Carl?
Yes, we do have a question from That Key Voice. And her question is, what is the biggest mistake you've made, or what is the biggest mistake you made in your process that was avoidable? Okay. what was the biggest mistake? I think the biggest mistake was thinking that I needed to wait for my Medicare reassignment number to happen before I sent in my other paperwork the for the initial part of the business. I thought that I had to wait till everything was together so that there was no overlap because I thought that it would come rather quickly. Well, it didn't happen. I could have done those things simultaneously and it probably would have sped up the process a little bit more. But that's one of the things one of the mistakes I made that was avoidable.
So if you had to talk to your coach in advance, do you think you would have missed that pitfall?
Oh, of course. Of course I would have missed that pitfall. I definitely, that there again, that I was doing that on my own and was like, oh, well, I just need to do this. I don't have to call Dr. Teresa on everything, I'll be able to do this. But that was something that, I think I could have avoided, definitely. And we have another question from Dr. J. Bivens. For startup businesses that want to begin with low overhead, what's some advice for marketing and location, etc.?
Okay, so that's a loaded question. I'll just take part of that because it would take a lot to really answer that in detail. For basic marketing, I would say you definitely need to have somebody who can do some professional products for you. That's including getting your logo, getting your like cover sheets, which you'll need to send out information to doctor's office, kind of a little bit of a bio about who you are, your background, what specialty areas you're interested in, so you can introduce yourself through different media. Right now, we don't have like that face-to-face option per se to go in and sit down and have a chat with the doctors as well as maybe their referral coordinators like we did before. So you really have to be creative with finding a way to make a connection with those people, because it depends on who you are and what business entity you have. But start with here in Atlanta, there are awesome graphic designers around, and some of them are not really expensive. You can DM me if you want, me to give you a person or two that you can look to get your design put together. But you want a good website. You need to go ahead and get yourself set up with a good YouTube channel, a good Instagram, and a good Facebook, so you can start getting your presence known in the online space, because the online space literally is where it is at. Those are things that you could do for free. If you guys go to my my YouTube channel, you'll see it's pretty fabulous. There's a lot of great videos out there. It not only looks good, but it's good content out there. So when people are trying to find out who you are, they need resources to be able to find out more about you versus you just talking about it. So, if you have people who've written reviews, once you get your Facebook up, even if they're people that you worked with prior to you starting your business, that have personal relationships with you, who knows about your expertise and skills, try to get them to go onto your different platforms and write reviews for you. So whoever your target market is, your target audience is, you got to find a way to be able to reach that target audience. And so we're 3 minutes prior to being able to, before this ends, and I want to be able to save the live, so I'm going to actually end it here. But okay. I want to thank you, Carl, so much for coming on board.
Listen, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. And this was an awesome way to let everyone know about my business launch. So I can't thank you enough for your invaluable just information and coaching that you've done and given me so far. So I'm looking forward to those courses that are to come, because I know that I can still learn a lot more.
They're going to be good. And if Carl knows anything about me, what's my superpower, if you could say that?
What's your superpower? Ooh, you're disciplined. You are so disciplined. I mean, oh my God, you are like super disciplined. And
and I will give you guys that same degree of love and support. So if I'm passionate about whatever I sign up for, so if you happen to be someone who's interested in learning more about being under my mentorship, sign up, and I guarantee you won't be disappointed.
Definitely won't. I can attest to that.
Thank you all for joining us.
Thank
for
you
the
so much,
rest of
Dr.
your
Bristol.
Saturday.
Thank you, everyone.
Don't
Enjoy
forget
your
to
Saturday.
subscribe. Dr. Teresa Bristol at K-Rod Music is where you can find Carl as well.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.